statement is pretty short. I feel like with the new board, we should really be bending over backwards to cooperate and work with each other. And I feel like this meeting wasn't called in a spirit of cooperation. 3 board members were kind of excluded from any feedback, and it just didn't feel like there was a very cooperative effort here. Now, having said that, I'm willing to move forward in a cooperative spirit, but I think all of us need to commit to working with each other, being cooperative, and including the whole board on things that the board needs to be included on. So I'm not gonna dwell on that anyway. I also wonder why there was such a rush to put this meeting together. We have a full slate. We have a full slate of officers that are current, except for the vice president. Because Jennifer obviously isn't on the board anymore. She was our vice president, but we still have the rest of the officers. So I'm not sure I understand the rush to do that. We can still conduct all the business at the CLCA. The current officers were elected last October, and our bylaws state that those terms run for a full year. So we're good until October, which a couple of us suggested, hey, let's wait till the next regular meeting, and we can get to know each other and kind of figure out what roles and responsibilities would be best suited for all of us. But that kind of went out the window with calling this meeting so quickly. Well, let me finish my statement. That actually is pretty much the statement that I wanted to make. But what I really want to emphasize is that we should all be doing everything we can to cooperate with each other and making sure the board is informed on all the things that we're doing, and including the board on any decisions that need to be made. So, in the spirit of cooperation, let's move into the election of officers agenda item and board discussion. And Julie, you wanted to make a motion? Well, why don't we have a discussion about the different...
We didn't have one for you.
Well, we can have a discussion, and then we can have motions to discuss each candidate if that's what we wanted to do. But I really wanted to kind of get a sense of the board members, especially the new board members, a sense of why is it that we're in a hurry to do this, and what are the thoughts of who should be in what officer position. Yeah, sure, yeah.
So as far as discussions go, that's exactly it. Last year when we all came together, we all got together to know what each other's expertise were, to be able to say who would want to do what would not. For example, Andrea, we asked her if she wanted to do treasurer. She said, I do not want to be the treasurer last year. So to do a motion of appointing someone right now without a discussion of who anybody is, I don't even know who this person is right now, what she does, or what her background is, or what her expertise is, or what she can do. So why would I even have a choice of voting on her as a president, for example, if I've never even met her and know anything about her? So I'd like to get a discussion, get a background. Hey, who are you and how are you and what is your background? Like, I can let you know who I am and where I'm from and what my expertise are and where I've been in my 20-year career or 25-year career. And that's what I think we should be doing, is doing discussion to see who we all are, and then we can all then come together to say, oh, you know what, I think you'd be a great secretary or you'd be a great treasurer because you have the want, the knowledge, and the expertise to do it. Not just to make a motion because I've never met this person, okay? So why would you make a motion without a discussion of who it is? And then on the side of that, it took most of us several months to figure out what was going on up here, okay? As the treasurer, as the president, of dealing with the spyglass and going through all these different issues one by one and digging into every single issue, it took time for that person in their role to get where they are. We already have a person who's got a year experience with that expertise, not that they can't get help, because that's what we are here as a board to do, but why would you take that position away from someone who has already been doing all those due diligence and has the communication and all the background with everything that's going on, then you're starting over. And you're just putting the CLCA and the entire board and everyone, all the residents into a back position like we were when we had a scrambled board that was not functional because no one knew what was going on up here. And there was no expertise or no, excuse me, no, not expertise. There was no knowledge transfer from the prior board members. You know, I had to call Chip and ask him for things. I had to call Evan and ask for things. That a lot of y'all said, oh, we'll just figure it out ourselves. And then it turns out by a simple phone call, we figured it out. Because you want to just go do a rogue, your own thing. No, we're a community. We need to work together. We need to go use our past board members' knowledge, our past experiences, and work together to go forward. And not just make a decision because I don't even know what, like, anything about Cross Street, okay? I'd like to know way more about her. Let her have the mic, let her have a discussion, and so I can understand what it is I'm going to be voting. And that's right.
Another thing we probably should consider is when you have a board that's established, you want continuity. You want to continue the something that you kind of talked about there.
They're not going to sell.
That's what we voted against.
I can't stand it.
Relationships that are built in their roles.
There's a goal in the meeting.
And if you work at a company and have big leadership changes at the top, that has to be very well planned and has to be, there has to be a transition plan, there has to be succession plan. You can't just do it abruptly or you just cause chaos and discontent. So, and it doesn't matter that it's not because I'm the president. I say you can't be president. That's not it at all. It wouldn't matter. This is a kind of a principle of leadership at any sort of company, any sort of corporation that is doing business. You have established your leadership team, and you keep that leadership team unless one of your leaders has done something truly egregious, or you have to get rid of it, or that leader is no longer there. So in this case, Jennifer isn't on the board anymore, so we need a vice president. But that's a very important concept in leadership and continuity, is keeping the board that's in place. And I would also suggest, and not trying to brag, but I think I've done a pretty good job. I think I've done a lot of accomplishments in the last year. Negotiated the Kemper thing. I negotiated the spyglass thing. We've really turned this board into the proper direction, I think, of where we need to be headed. To me, why would you want to, replace a president that has a successful track record? And I would say that about anybody. I'm not just saying it about me. I'm saying about Seth too. He's been a fantastic treasurer. He's brought a lot of new concepts and managing our money and making it work for us. So I just think that the continuity is something that we really need to consider.
He should have gone and meet the candidates. He could have done that. He's too busy.
I think the microphone went dead.
I better have it. I didn't think that.
I can't hear.
Rick, can we hear from you as far as what your plans are as president? It sounds like Greg made his points.
My plans as president here is to pull the community together and discontinue the division we've had the past year. Leaders have to have followers, and leaders have followers, or people get out of the way in my business world. But I've found here that you lead, follow, or obstruct, and I'm tired of the obstruction personally. So I want to move forward, getting things done here, even on my own nickel. I'll pay the money to get the work done as I've been doing, and I want to improve this community. It looks like a bad deal. I mean, people come in here and we get complaints of people coming in here. Now, as far as the paperwork goes, that's one thing. I'm more of a doer, and I'm a paperwork person as well. I do both. But I've lived here 24 years, and I played tennis here. I mean, we've been here about 30 years. So I'm pretty familiar with these grounds. I'm familiar with construction. My bio pretty much said it all. I've been successful at everything I've done. I plan to be successful here. Next.
So what you said, I didn't actually hear any plan at all. I mean, I can get up here and be a politician and say, I'm going to lead, and I'm going to lead this team and grow and make us better. Where did you ever say a plan? Because the only plan I've seen, for example, is when you said you were going to take off the steps, you left it like garbage. There is no grass there. You left the sticks there. You left everything there that you said was going to be cleaned up, right? So that you call that a leadership plan. You call that keeping things nice and clean. I'm calling you out because you've not led, or he has led multiple times, and I have the emails to prove those. If we need to pull out those texts, if you could smile at me with your little shit ass grin. And this is your career. Yes, sir. Where is the plan? What one item can you tell me that you're going to do to make this community better besides spreading false rumors and false truths that I had completely recorded?
Make a motion.
Make the motion.
The plans I have is I've done so many things. I've put plans together. I mean, you can look as mean as you want to, Seth, but people can't see you, but I can. If you want to be professional, I can be professional with you, but I'm not going to get in the gutter with you.
I just want proof. Give me one proof. You have not proven one thing you've done here.
Nancy Jennison, she had a inlet drain in her house. She's in there right now. I got that done for her for cost. I mean, below cost, actually, through my associations. The thing you're talking about, I did it for a fraction of what the bids were. They wanted $15,000 for the stairs you're talking about that would have killed somebody. And I've got more than that, but I'm not here to do that. We're here for a professional meeting. Here you go.
I have the pictures of that spot, and it was not left professional at all.
Oh my God.
Okay, and it's still. If you can go over there right now, you go over there and you see the concrete all over the place. You can still see the big old retaining board still sitting there, and you can see the washout that is washing out the other retaining wall because those stairs were protecting the retaining wall. So again, what are you going to do to continue to lead here when we got things that are going to be?
There's one thing I'm going to do to keep. I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
Thank you.
To stop doing rogue things like installing cameras in here without ever telling any board member or anyone. You think that's okay? You think that's okay to do things like that without telling them?
Free of charge.
You're going rogue, man.
Bro?
You're going rogue. You do things without telling anyone on the board. You discuss with RH Group behind our backs. I have the proof. I have the emails from James Hoffman and from RH Group. I have it all, okay? And the residents need to know this because I'm tired of shady stuff going on out here, okay? I have the proof.
Violence. He's too violent.
Anyway, I want to hear what you're saying. Well, can you guys please be quiet? I mean, it's really kind
Okay,
of juvenile.
Well, we have a right to voice what we feel. He's a felon, he doesn't need to be on our board.
The only thing that I would say, in addition to that discussion, is
Nobody
I have a
questions
track
you or you
record.
like that.
I've gotten a lot accomplished in this past 15 months or a year, I guess, since I've been president. And I would, it would, I don't know, I don't know how to say this, but it's, I don't think it's a good idea to replace somebody who has a track record and somebody who hasn't violated the property code with somebody who provably violated our property code, and I don't think he's really ever acknowledged it either. So it's I've got some misgivings about what we're talking about here is replacing somebody who's done a good job and has a track record and hasn't done anything unethical with somebody that there's questions about. So that's what I would say.
Let's just vote. Nominate, vote. Need vote.
We need to vote.
Some of the dialogue even before the election, came from the board, certain board of directors that could have impacted everybody's vote, because this, that, and the other about dues, and everybody's going to agree and disagree. That's why we're all sitting at a table kicking the can up and down the street. I think with our community, we need the cohesion. I've seen the segregation the last 12, 13 months. I mean, it's clearly evident. Now, I don't know how we step through this other than we make change. Because this board is just a revolving door anyway. Because it brings in, every 3 years, a new personality, a new personal agenda, and somebody that wants to drive the bus. I think we can all work together, even if we do change it up. I do. And Seth, there's a lot of things in this community that needs to be changed, and that's just my opinion on that.
Vote.
He's way behind, he's picking up the mic.
Yeah.
That was uncalled for. Very much so uncalled for. What he said. Well, I seen the talk on the house very
This is gonna be a big change, obviously. We either keep Greg, or it sounds like Rick will come on. And I'm very concerned for this board and for this community. It sounds like, holy cow, from this table, how are we gonna get beyond this? These very frustrated feelings from the folks that have been on the board, and I'm sure the new folks that are coming in. It's hard to get past this, so how do we do that? Does anyone have any suggestions? I'm sitting on the wall right here, trying to figure out which way to go. And it's not looking real pleasant to me right now. So does anyone have any suggestions as to what we do after we walk out of this room today? Whether it's Greg and Seth or whoever it is, Rick and whoever. This is a big decision, obviously. And then after the decision, we have a lot of hard work to do. And we have to do this together.
Well, we got to keep in mind why we ran. And if we did it for the right reason, we did it to support the community. And in order to do that, we have to be cohesive. And it's not at all right now, but we've just got to put our emotions behind us. This isn't personal. If we take a vote and somebody wants a position and doesn't get it, we're grown-ups. we just need to put this behind us. And I don't know what everybody went through. I'm new, so, but it's not gonna work if we keep looking backwards. That's all I'm gonna say. We've gotta find a way to look forward, no matter what we do here, or it's not gonna be very nice.
I also feel like we have to think about more than just our supporters. We've got, I think, 300 or so, Shelley, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 300 folks that voted, which means we had over 600 that did not. So we've got a lot of strong, loyal supporters for one candidate or another, and those folks aren't sitting here today. Those folks don't go to the round tables. Those folks didn't even vote. Now, a lot of people say, well, if you don't vote, don't bitch. In a community, you have to consider those people. This is their money that we are screwing with. We're either making it better for them, or we're going to tear this thing down even worse. And we've made a lot of headway. We have to be, and I got to tell you, this last year was the easy part. It was the easy part, saying no to things getting done. Now that we have money, this is the hard part. We have to be really smart about how we spend our money and when.
And the speaker's up. Please, the homeowners would like to hear this. Every word. We can't hear it. No.
So, again, he has not been a true leader because he, again, as today, even with Andrea sending a text and sending emails, he goes in rogue and does his own thing without ever telling anyone from the board what's going on. A true president, a true leader, which Greg has done, has always CC'd and communicated to all board members if it represents something that is big. It was a spyglass thing that he was dealing with Andrea and me as the treasurer and Shelley, that it was just between them because there was no reason to get everyone involved. But when there's something that involves every one of the board members, that should involve every one of the board members, Greg has always done that. And Rick has continuously, as today was proof of that, through the text and emails of these cameras being installed that Andrea asked about over and over and over again, that you completely ignored her and just blew her off.
Do I get
And I'm not done. And you blew her off.
Let me know when
you
you
blew
are.
her off. You blew her off and didn't just ignored her. And that's a true leader that we want as our president. That we want as our president. That is not a president. That is not a true leader. A leader will always involve everyone and bring everyone along with them, and not go rogue and do their own thing because they had their own company. Because I've dealt with that in the past, and it is completely bullying, old school, old boy way, and it's not a leader. That is not a leader, and we are a board here. We are not your own company, Rick. This is not your company. This is the community's company. This is the board to be able to decide things as a whole. Okay, so I do not think he is a good enough leader to be able to lead in a way that is going to bring us all together, because he doesn't even bring anyone together. He goes off on his own. Greg has always brought us all together through all the emails.
You said it 5 times.
Is it my turn? Without interruption? Article 8, Section 2, Election of Officers. The election of officers shall take place at the first meeting of Board of Directors following each annual meeting of the members. As far as I'm concerned, reading that, we did not have a Board of Directors because we had no leaders established. None. Because it's over with, according to...
Rick, that's just wrong. It's wrong because the Board of Directors officers were elected last October. Okay? You agree with that? The officers for this board were elected last October, right?
The Board of Directors...
Is that right or wrong?
The Board of Directors were elected the third Saturday of September.
The officers.
We did not elect the officers properly based on... We've been operating rogue. You talk about operating rogue. See, I get interrupted. Seth doesn't get interrupted, Greg. That's not right, Greg. That's the way our meetings go.
Okay.
Week in and week out. We do weekly meetings, and that's the way they always go. And that's why I've told y'all, I just told you a little bit ago, I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to, I'll finish, and you can have the floor.
Okay.
That's the way meetings work in a professional life. And you're right. You're right. I've owned the company for many decades, and I do know how to work with people. I've worked with attorneys. I've worked with states. I've worked with insurance companies. I've worked with lots of people. And all you have to do is read my bio. There's nothing. 3 years running, I was top 100 company in Dallas in the mid-90s. No lie. I mean, that's at the CEO Institute, and that's all I got to say. You guys want my help, I'm here to help. I'm here to help, and you saw it, and I don't know if y'all don't want to see it because you want your power play or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm here to help.
Okay, well, you talked about election of officers, quoting the bylaws. Right, and what we did last year was the first meeting of the board to elect officers was the October regular meeting. And in the October regular meeting, we elected our officers.
No.
Correct?
No, that is not right.
Right?
No.
We didn't elect at the October meeting?
No.
That was the first meeting.
That is not a
That's
meeting.
not a board meeting. That's not a board meeting. A board meeting is called properly. Anyway, the point is that the officers were elected last October. The bylaws state that the officers serve for 1 year. So the terms of the officers that are in the room right now are for 1 year. I don't. There's no reason to rush this. We still have officers on this
Call
board.
motion vote.
Yeah, you can argue with that.
Quit arguing.
And that was a suggestion that we made, was let's wait until the October meeting so we can kind of all understand each other and work together a little bit, and then make that do that officer election, just like we did last year. in the
Stop
October
arguing
meeting.
and vote. No.
So I would actually like to make a motion to table this. Is there a second to table this? Table it until we have a chance to meet everyone and meet on our next October meeting. And then table the election until we all get to meet, and then we'll vote at that time in front of all the residents, and not just this little group in here, but all the residents. They can come.
I would second that. Motion to table, you do the vote of that before you do the vote for the other motion.
No.
So I guess we all vote. All in favor of the motion to table the election until the next meeting, or at least sometime in some later date. All in favor of that? We can certainly discuss the tabling motion.
No.
I mean, I don't know that the tabling motion requires a discussion, but. Well, I mean, why don't we just vote on Seth's motion? And he moved to table the election until a later date at our next regular meeting or at some later date.
No. We've had no election.
All in favor of that motion?
No.
Right here. We got 3.
They don't have it.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Now you know how it feels.
yeah, that's fine. That motion did not pass. So we're back to nominations and voting, I guess. Is there any more discussion about the presidential nominations?
Make a motion.
No? Okay. So. It's really just nominations, but so how do we do that? Because last year was easy because everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. It was kind of unanimous.
No. No, it wasn't.
Well, I guess the Rick nomination was first. So
Yeah.
all in favor of Rick, I guess. What's the proper way? Is that the proper way? So the first motion was for Rick, so all in favor of Rick? Aye. We got 4, so that's
43.
Please use the speaker, the microphone, so we can hear. Thank you.
I'll nominate James for vice president.
Any other nominations? Easy? Any discussion? All right, well, then, he's the only one.
Yeah. Tonight, what are you talking about? They thought the seller was slain.
Yeah, I'll wait on that. Other nominations, treasurer, secretary? Nominate Julie, secretary. And treasurer, I will nominate Seth, our current treasurer.
That ain't gonna happen.
For treasurer, I nominate Seth. He's done a great job, I think.
No, yeah.
No, he hasn't done anything.
He's been a horrible job.
Thank you, Bob.
Any other nominations?
He stands up and wants to bow up at me, I'll bow up at
All
him.
right, no other nominations? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
I don't understand why.
It's working.
It's good.
That why we had meetings this year where we didn't know what the treasurer's report was and had to table the treasurer's report. I didn't understand that part. I mean, it just seems to be very confusing.
We were going through audit, and the spyglass entry that was not made, I noticed was not done, so I asked Matt Group to get on it. Matt Group was going through a lot of turnover, and they also went through a system change, and so during that time, they didn't get the numbers changed. So they told me they got it done, and when I got it that morning, which was late, I got it that morning and looked at it, I had to table it because I noticed that entry was not made, and it was skewing our numbers. So I went back to them that night and said, get this fixed, because we gotta get this fixed for the audit. And that's where it was, that's why that would table the June financials.
And we did already take a vote, but if there's no more discussion, all in favor of Seth treasurer? Do you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
Discussion about the nominees?
Catherine, can you give us a little idea of your experience with accounting and finance? Or your general business experience?
Well, I have a wealth of business experience. I wouldn't say specifically in accounting. So, but overseeing it, or if there's accountants that'll back me up and doing most of that, I can certainly audit it and go through it. I've definitely been in charge of analyzing ROI on huge projects, multi-million-dollar projects before, and in charge of finances for huge events for thousands of people. So I do have experience with budgeting large projects, but I'm
Not a
honest.
big cat.
So, Catherine, just a little bit about my background. I've been in the accounting world since 2000, so 24 years of accounting background. I'm the controller for Champion Motors Group. I've been the vice president of operations at Trend HR, and I've worked in nothing but numbers my entire life. That's why I dissected numbers and was able to save us probably about $25,000 on the spyglass issue that they tried to come after us for. That I went back to the numbers and was able to get some money back. I was able to put our money into the money market accounts to the high yield savings and get our money work for us. I have about 3 or 4 other plans for this year to get going once Shelly gets some help up here in the office. So I feel like I have a year of experience to be able to keep this thing not just moving forward, but nice and clean, because I dissect every single one of the line items on the financials into the details, and ask Andrea for her help on multiple occasions. Can you ask questions about this, and this? So she is diligently getting back to me with Mac Group. So I feel like a change in the treasurer, especially with my experience and my current experience, and with as facts being honest. If someone's dissecting the numbers, there's no way to not be honest, because I've caught so many people with forensic accounting trying to do things, which I've even caught up here back in 2017 when I was on the LLC, when I caught them with the POS. They were stealing from the POS system at our events, and was able to work with Chip and Lise to get our event coordinator off of him, because she was literally stealing from us, and we got it documented. Because I found and dug into the financials, dug into the POS systems, and was able to find all this stuff. So I personally feel like this is the one job up here that I have come up on board on here to really help out, and also to help with the restaurant get the negotiations going, because I have my 25 years experience with that. And that was my real two main goals here when I got onto the board, was to help with the finances, to help with the LLC, and to potentially keep our dues at a minimum raise. That was my three things when I came on board, and there's some of the three main things that I want to continue to do. So thank you.
Turn it on. He turns it on.
He asked me if I was for raising dues or not. Currently, I'm still on the fence, because I feel like we do need to raise them a little. I don't think we need the full 10%, but at the same time, as Andre and I said, we're looking pretty good on our cash, but we need to plan this out over more like a 5-10 years and not a 2-year period, because we have our reserve study going on, and our reserve study is going to tell us what we need to do over the next 15 years and how to budget out our money for these big ROI projects that we have going on. So what I want to do is say that right now, currently, until we have the reserve study, I'm on the fence as far as I want to go up in dues or down. I told everyone that I don't want dues to raise. I was promised that when I got into this neighborhood 12 years ago, that dues would not raise, and they've been raised every year I've been here. So that's been one of my frustrating moments of wanting to get on the board as well. So yes, I am for keeping the dues where they need to be, but if they need to go up because we need to get this neighborhood going, then that's what it needs to be. If we're happy where it is, and like I said, we've done the study for over a year, but that's 1 year, 2 years. We need 5 to 15 years to see what this neighborhood would do. 2 years, we're doing okay for 2 years. We need to look at what's coming up on the horizon. We have retaining walls filling. We have the tennis courts over there. We have all these different things, plus just trying to keep our roads alive over the next 2-3 years. We have a lot of things on the horizon. So when it comes to raising dues, I am on the fence. I don't know yet, because I need that reserve study to really do it.
Yeah, I didn't say enough about my experience, so I would say that I'm an excellent negotiator. I'm very good at that, and I could have done really well with the spyglass thing as well. And I also think that I could have really done well on the negotiations with the restaurant if my help was needed, because I'm out in real estate experience and all. But I'm happy to do it.
Right, and then to me it seemed like Andrea, who was supposed to be the vice treasurer, seemed to be doing so much of the work. I didn't understand why she wasn't the treasurer instead of you, because it seemed like she did all this work all the time and kept everything moving and going, and then just presented it to you to present. I didn't understand where it wasn't her not doing the work. She was.
I want to make something very clear to everybody. Yes, I did a lot of work. I did a lot of menial work. I did a lot of reviewing of contracts and all kinds of agreements and everything. But to say that I did all the work is absolutely 100% wrong. I did work that no treasurer should have to do. And I was willing to do it for a couple of reasons. The biggest one is I'm a pretty big investor in this neighborhood, and I was very concerned about our finances. So I put the extra effort in, and I groused about it to Ron, and I groused about it to the people that I'm very close to, but this was not a fun job, and it was not a job for someone who has a full-time person and who has less invested in me, or in this, than I did. Shelley can attest, she's about the only one left that can attest to the misery that this office was in and this neighborhood was in, really. I tried to lay low. I tend to be very neutral. I want to always look at everybody's side, and that's difficult in this neighborhood right now. Everybody's emotions are just, whoo, right at the top, right below the skin, and it's hard to work like that. So I don't want to say I take offense to that, but that comment, Julie, but yes, I did a lot of work that nobody should have had to do. This place was run almost into the ground. Seth did a lot of the higher level stuff for me because I was just beat up week after week with this kind of work. So he provided perspective that a CFO and a treasurer should be doing. And he caught errors not errors, but things that I may have missed. And like he said, he would call me and say, hey, this doesn't look right. And I would go, search it out and go, you're right, and here's what we have to do. But this was not all Andrea's world. It would have been looking a lot different if it was. So, as much as, Catherine, I respect you. I don't know you very well. I'm getting to know more about your experience, but I really don't think you're the person for this position right now, to be honest. We still need somebody with a lot of experience, in my opinion, especially since we've got a new GM coming in. She's going to give guidance, and I'm hoping that will ease the job of treasurer. Because I got to tell you folks, I'm stepping back, and I'm stepping back hard and fast. There's no way I can do this for another year. I'll be here for guidance, but I'm really putting a lot of weight on Shelley and Dawn. This is the only way that I can do it. We had to get a good general manager, and I think we've really found a great one. I hope we can all support her, but she doesn't have the high-level accounting experience that Seth does. And our accounting firm, although they're doing our daily stuff, I don't think they're going to give us the guidance that we need either. So I'm willing to work with Seth. It's going to be tougher for me to work with you, Catherine, because you just admitted you don't have some of those skills that we need. Hopefully, I'll feel differently next year. But this year, I got to say, I'm going to support Seth. And I'm also going to say, this is not a popularity contest. This decision needs to be made at a higher level.
We are.
And I know that there's personalities that conflict. That's normal in a business at the high level sometimes. But you've got to be committed to working together and looking at problems and resolving them. And I hope we can do that.
Just to add on to that, you made a really good point. Dawn is coming on. She's going to be new. She is going to need experience and knowledge transfer as well. So we need to have that knowledge transfer to consistently tell her this, and this, and I know those things, and this is why that journal entry was made, and this is why that was made, and why we had to book this here, and what this is for the DNO, and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that knowledge transfer to Dawn is needed this next year as well, to be able to have this run as more of a governing body rather than us as a board trying to dig in and do everything all the time, right? That's Shelley and Dawn's role, and maintenance's role, and security's role, to be able to do the things that we are paying them to do, and not have to sit there all the time and do their jobs for them. So I think that's a great point, that being able to transfer all that knowledge to Dawn this year is going to be important. Thank you.
It happens every year, y'all. Every year we get a new treasurer.
Make a vote.
Wow, just keep it going.
Motion to adjourn. Motion seconded. All in favor? Aye.